going to do a drone technical survey. We do this with all of our projects. By doing the drone, it means that we get to take accurate 3D roof measurements, so we can really double check that everything matches up. In this case, they've already got the scaffolding up, so we can actually get up there with a measuring tape and take some measurements. But then there's other things, like for example, there's lots of trees and bushes around, and all those things can create shading. Now, for us to get a real accurate measure on that, if we use the drone, it builds the house and the surrounding area up in 3 dimensions, and then we can take accurate measurements to find out exactly the angle of the tree, the orientation, and then we can plot a shading map so we know exactly how much generation, say exactly, but you know, a very, very, very good estimate on what the shading effect is going to be. So here's our drone. It's a bit of a boy's toy, but at the same time an incredible piece of kit, and it actually does it automatically. We pre-program it with a flight path, and it figures it all out, and then it does 5 flights and takes photos from different angles, and then later on it compiles all those photographs and builds a 3D model out of it, which we'll show you later on in the office. Pull up the map, and then I'm going to program in the flight route. So create a flight route so we can create a 3D model. Now I have to decide on the altitude. Make sure there's no children or dogs or eagles around.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rob and I do technical operations at Kimbletech. Here I'm just going to show you a little bit about the drone surveys we use. We use it for many reasons, but mainly we use it so we can know exactly how many panels we're trying to fit onto a project. So as you can see here, we've got a multi-aspect roof, and we can now use this drone information to zoom in onto the roof. We can see the tile type, the roof structure, and we can also look at any shading issues we may have. So we use 2 bits of software. We use the drone to actually create the roof map, and then we can, from this, we can translate this over onto another bit of software where we can actually physically draw the roof spaces out, because we can measure the roof from the drone footage. Once you measure, it'll give you your horizontal distance of the roof. It'll also give you the slope, the pitch of the roof, and then we can transfer this information over onto our other bit of software, so then we can actually detail the roof layout. So we take any guesstimations out of our calculations, so when we know we've done a drone survey, we know exactly how many panels we're working with. What it also enables us to do, so this roof's quite straightforward, it's got 2 hips on it, it's not too difficult. When we go onto the roof 2, as you can see on the drone survey, it's a little bit more complicated. We've got 1 chimney breast, we've got a vent stack, and we've got 2 Velux windows. Now once we've drawn the actual roof and set the roof out, we can then put guides onto our other drawings so we know exactly where these are in relationship to the roof itself. So we can measure these points here, then we can come over here, we create a guide, we know that that is a metre up on from the gutter line to the Velux, and then we can create another border in between the 2 Velux, so we can accurately put any obstructions onto the roof. So then when we come over to our panel design, we know exactly how many panels we can fit on each elevation and each aspect that we can safely work with. As you can see, this elevation here is this hip over here. On this project itself, we've used 4 different roof elevations. So it's quite a major project we've done. The button here, now that comes down from a southerly aspect, so we know due south is this way. So the south elevations on this project were here, and this was east. So we obviously maximised what we could get on the south, and then the rest were east facing. Now, as you can see from this drawing here, we had quite a lot of shading to contend with. So we had quite a lot of trees in the back garden. What this software allows us to do, we can pinpoint a location on the roof, and we can take that across to the top of the trees. It will now tell us how far away those trees are and at what slope. So we know at 30 degrees and at 21 meters, that's the top of the tree line. So in summertime, it's not going to create an issue at all, but in the low winter months, there's going to be some element of shade across that roof plane. So then, once we're pricing the job up, we can then add those calculations into our software, and it can give us a return on investment calculated based on this exact project for the whole year. So we take all the guesswork out of our jobs. Yeah, and the main aim here is to always maximise the roof space, create the best return on investment for our clients. We don't do a one-size-fits-all kind of system. We really try and do a bespoke system to really enable them to get the best out of their roof they possibly can. The other plus side as well is the client gets a really cool funky picture of their roof if they would like it at the end of it. One of the other great benefits as well, it wasn't so difficult with this project actually, because it was a nice low level bungalow, so there wasn't too much to worry about. But actually when you're working on a 2-story, 3-story building, it means we can actually physically see the roof. Like sometimes we go to a project and you can't get up there, so you can't see it. So you can only go inside, you can measure the rafters, you can see what the felt's like, but you don't know the condition of the roof until you get above it. So this bit of equipment gives us a great insight to actually what the condition of the roof is like, if the customer needs to even have any look at any roof repairs, or it just gives us a great overview of the whole project before we go into it. So actually we can assess any issues that might arise before we even think about getting on there. One of the other main aspects as well, once the salesmen have won a project, the main reason we utilise this is just to verify the design. And so from what we've set out to achieve is actually achievable, and we can get the amount of panels that the client has requested. It also enables us to make little tweaks and changes because we comfortably know what we're working with, so any small alterations can be made. And it's always at the benefit of the client.